everybody. Happy Thursday. This is Emily, the community manager at TuDiabetes, working with the Diabetes Hands Foundation. And today is our long-awaited interview with Sierra Sandison, also known as Miss Idaho 2014. And we have a ton of people here, Sierra, who have been so excited to meet you. Camera is on you, Sierra. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sierra Sandison, Miss Idaho, and I'm really sick today, so sorry about my gross voice. Let's see. I'm 20 years old. I'm a business student at the College of Southern Idaho. As you know, I just got home from Miss America about 2 weeks ago, and it was awesome and amazing, and I had the time of my life. I've competed in beauty pageants for about 2 years now, and I was diagnosed as well with diabetes 2 years ago.
Wow, so you embarked on a whole bunch of new stuff about 2 years ago. 2012 was a really big year for you, for the good and for the challenging. Let's talk first about your diabetes diagnosis, and then we can get on to other things that were going on for you.
Okay, so in about, I think, over Christmas break of December 2011, I had my wisdom teeth out and was hoping to be back in school on like January 7th or whenever we went back, and the surgery was not healing, and I ended up being out of school for about 2.5 months. And for anyone who has your wisdom teeth out, like my little sister got hers out, she was back at school like the next day. So it was crazy. We couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then on top of that, I was losing my eyesight and super thirsty, obviously. And the moment where we figured it out was I was snowboarding, and I was snowboarding alone, and I kept having to buy water bottles every time I got down the hill. And if any of you guys are skiers or snowboarders, you know that usually you only go into the lodge for lunch and maybe one time to go to the bathroom. Every time I had to go to the bathroom, buy 3 water bottles, drink them on the way up, and I even had to go to the bathroom sometimes in the middle of a run. And so it was super inconvenient, and I called my dad, and I moved out of the house because I had turned 18, and my dad's a doctor, so we could have caught it sooner, but I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, I have a huge problem. I need to go to rehab. I'm an aquaholic. And he started laughing at me, and I was like, no, Dad, it is a serious issue, and it's affecting my life so much. I cannot.
You had discovered a new addiction that no one knew about before.
So he kind of laughed at me, and he's like, oh, you just have diabetes. And I was like, Dad, I weigh 120 pounds. Because this is when I was high school, so I was really little. And he's like, Sierra, that doesn't matter. It's type 1 diabetes. You can get it at any age and any weight. And so he explained to me the difference, and I was still not having it. I'm like, I don't have diabetes. But then, of course, the next day we went in and I had it. So. Wow.
So this must have been really shocking news, especially since you had already decided that you were an aquaholic at that point. So this was a whole new thing. Did you know anything about diabetes at the time, or was there anyone else in your family who had diabetes, or was there any reason to expect it?
Yeah, I have my grandpa had it, my uncle had it, one of my second cousins has it. So I've kind of grown up around it, and that actually scared me more. I wish I hadn't known anything about it, because they both, all of them except the little second cousin, have passed away. And so I watched them in the 90s prick their finger and have to get a gallon of blood to test their blood sugar, and they had these big needles, and they had to drop the insulin out of a vial. And so when I was diagnosed, I was devastated, because that's what I was picturing in my future. So I'm really grateful for the technology that we have that makes diabetes so much easier to handle than it used to be.
Definitely. We have folks on TuDiabetes, folks who are even watching right now, who have had diabetes for decades. I think from looking in the chat room, I think we have folks in there right now who have had diabetes up to about 50 years. No, Shoshana's here. Hi, Shoshana. Shoshana has had type 1 diabetes for, I believe, 75 years.
Oh, my word.
Really incredible. So it's true, you're having a really different experience than a lot of folks who are watching right now had when they were first diagnosed. What technology are you using right now?
I have my T-Slim, obviously, and then my glucometer that doesn't take much blood at all. But I have a CGM, but the gray piece I can't find it, so I'm waiting for insurance to replace that. So I love my CGM though when I do have it.
When you can find the transmitter, it works a lot better.
Yeah.
So everyone, Sierra and I had an opportunity to chat a little bit before we started this event. So I know some of the other things that she was up to around the same time that she was diagnosed with diabetes in 2012. Sierra, can you talk to us about some of those other things that you were doing?
Yeah. Oh, wait. What? Which ones? I'm spacing.
All of them. Well, let's see. You were starting college, and you were doing sports camps, and you were starting to compete in pageants.
Yeah. Okay. So the beginning of that 2012, I graduated in 2012. So I got diagnosed with diabetes right before I graduated high school. And like I said, I had moved out of my parents' house, and I ended up moving back because at the beginning I had a lot of low blood sugar problems. So in the middle of the night, I had to call my dad like probably twice a week to come down and shove orange juice in my mouth. And then, so I graduated high school, I started competing in pageants, and during the summer of 2012, which is when I started competing, and after I graduated, I started working at this place for people with disabilities, and I was really excited about it. I was excited that it would be like a really rewarding opportunity. It sounded like a lot of fun, something I was passionate about, and it ended up, I don't know, it wasn't what I expected it to be at all, and I really wish, or it wasn't really enhancing the kids' quality of life like I expected to it. It was more like we sat in an empty room and played games with them like every 15 minutes, and so I was always thinking to myself, like, it's not, they always blamed it on the lack of funding from the government, but I knew that under like different leadership, we could definitely do some fun activities to enhance these kids' lives. So at the same time, my sister was about to be a junior in high school, so that fall she began her junior year, and she is also very passionate about people with disabilities and was volunteering in the special education class in her school. Excuse me. And she was leading a small group talk, and she asked them, if you could be anything that you could ever dream of, what would you be and why? And one of the girls said something that really struck a chord with my sister, and she said, if I could be anything, I would want to be a varsity cheerleader just like you, Haley. And so my sister was taken aback and thought, like, wow, I take my extracurricular activities for granted so often, but they really are. Extracurricular activities are so important for finding your identity, learning how to work hard, building character, and of course they're fun. So my sister thought, like, I can fix that. So we decided to put together a cheer camp, so these kids could participate and be cheerleaders. And then after the cheer camp, we decided we needed something that they could cheer for, so we had a basketball camp. And so we held a big basketball game, invited the whole community, and the cheerleaders got to cheer on the basketball players, and it was awesome. And since then, we've done a total of 2 cheer camps, 2 basketball camps, a tennis camp, 2 soccer camps, a week-long summer camp, and a powerlifting workshop. And it's been so incredible to see how much these kids have grown from the extracurricular activities that we so often take for granted. So that program also started in 2012.
That is incredible. So you were working really hard with people with disabilities at the same time that you were diagnosed with diabetes. Did you find any sort of common ground relating to their life and situations and challenges and the ones that you were just newly facing at that time?
Absolutely. So we all know that diabetes itself is a disability, and it's much different than the disabilities that the students I work with face, but we live without a vital organ, and I wear an insulin pump, which makes me different from a lot of my peers. And but the thing we have in common more than anything is that I, as well as the kids I work with, both have been given challenges in our life, and we have the opportunity to either let those challenges take over our lives or decide that we want to overcome them, we want to grow because of them, and then eventually we want to use what we've learned to serve others. And so that's a message I've really been able to get across to them. And like, for example, one I was telling you earlier, one of the girls that I work with who has autism is super passionate about, she has the biggest heart in the world, and she's actually going to put on a cheer camp, which is her favorite sport, as her senior project for her peers in her special education class. So it's been awesome to see her not only grow and find out who she is and what she loves through the camps, but now has developed leadership skills to actually use her disability to touch other people's lives. So that's been so wonderful. And then, of course, on a day-to-day basis when I'm working with them, they'll see my pump and they don't really have filters, and they don't understand that it might be an inappropriate question, so they're not scared. And they're like, "What are you wearing? Like, what is that? You have like a cord attached to you, dude." And I'm like, I explain to them, like, I have diabetes, I'm sick, and it's a disability kind of like yours. And I know how you feel when like people think you're different, but it's totally okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with being different, and just don't want to hold you back. And it's really meant so much to them.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
That's okay. I just took the camera off you right when you started coughing, so that was perfect. So in competing in pageants, right? You are Miss Idaho, as everybody knows, and you competed recently in the Miss America pageant. You were talking to me earlier about the fact that it isn't really just about looks, that there are a lot of aspects to these pageants. And I think a lot of people probably don't know that, and people see on television that there's a swimsuit competition, and once in a while someone's wearing an insulin pump on their swimsuit, very rarely. There's a swimsuit competition, and there's a ball gown competition, and I think those are the things that we associate with a lot of these pageants. In fact, we call them beauty pageants. But there are a lot of other aspects to what goes on to be a contestant. Can you talk about those other pieces?
Yeah, and like you said, I was very skeptical at first. You mentioned your, I don't know, you had a comment about, like, you always thought of beauty pageants as, like, very superficial, and then they say, like, oh, we provide scholarship money, and oh, we do this, and oh, like, community service, but really, like, those are just things to, like, I don't know, make it seem better than it is, but really, like I was just as skeptical. I was a tomboy before I got into pageants, and I was like, this sounds really stupid. But it has completely changed my life. If you, like, no one can look at my life and say that the Miss America organization hasn't empowered me, because, like, I've been able to change the world because of make a huge global impact because of the power the Miss Idaho crown has given me. And in addition to that, leading up, even if I'd never won Miss Idaho, it's given me so much public speaking experience and really driven me to, or given me an incentive to make sure I stay healthy and fit and take care of my diabetes so I can be a role model and work on my interview skills, stay updated on current events, and it's just helped me in every single aspect of my life. And then, of course, they always, like, emphasize the scholarships so much, which are so important. And I think they talk about them so much because they're the most tangible, but there's so much more that the Miss America organization has done for my life, and it's empowered me to help and serve others as well. So I am totally in love with it, and I know, especially the past 2 weeks since the Miss America pageant just happened, there's been a lot of negative media attention from people who don't really like pageants, but like, unless you've been involved in the organization, you can't really understand. But what we were also talking about how I love the Miss America organization because it really allows me to celebrate beauty in my own way, where a lot of other pageants really are only focused on looks. And in the Miss America organization, the bikini or the swimsuit competition is actually valued the least, where in a lot of other pageants it's valued a lot more compared to, like, interview or talent, and which I really appreciate. And then in addition to that, like I was saying, it helps me celebrate beauty in my own way. I don't have to be a symmetrical supermodel, and I don't have to be, like, 6'2", and I can wear my insulin pump. And I was telling you, like, if I was just a normal model on the cover of a magazine, the people who are hiring me wouldn't be okay with me wearing my insulin pump, where the Miss America organization is like, yes, if that's, like, who you are, totally be yourself. And they understand that that's going to touch so many lives. And I was telling you also about Nicole Kelly, Miss Iowa last year, who really inspired me, and it was the final straw in deciding to wear my insulin pump this year. But Nicole Kelly was born with only one arm, and um, everyone watching her just loved it, and it meant so much to people. So I just love how the Miss America organization really allows me to be myself and doesn't. Not only are they not mad about it, but they encourage it. It's awesome.
We have some great questions in the chat room about this whole experience, and the first one is, did anyone ever try to discourage you from displaying your pump while you were competing in a pageant?
Yeah, they had, let's see, so my platform is Possibilities for Disabilities, and it doesn't really have anything to do with diabetes, and I do mention we write an essay about our platform that we submit to the judges, but I do mention in that I have diabetes, and it's a challenge, and I relate to the kids because of it, but there wasn't any sure way that, like, I would actually, the judges don't have to read that if they don't want to, like, I did get to bring it up in my interview at Miss Idaho, but there's no way of knowing that they were going to ask me about diabetes, so it was really stressful. And then obviously there's the fear of people saying, like, oh, she's just using it to get sympathy, and so I think that's one of the concerns someone brought up, like, what if you win and people would just say, like, oh, she just won because the judges feel bad for her because she has diabetes. And I was really set on wearing it because I didn't want to get up there and, like, be this tall, skinny, pretty girl and pretend like I had no flaws, because the girls in the audience would watch me and it'd just be like the concerns about beauty pageants would be true. Like, I'm just feeding the lie that you have to be tall and skinny and seemingly flawless to be beautiful. And I wanted to show them that, like, whether you overweight or whether you, like, your face is not symmetrical, or, like, you don't like something about your body, like, just because, like, you don't look like a supermodel does not mean that you're not beautiful. And, like, what I have that I'm self-conscious about is my pump, and I wanted to show them that even though there are those, like, flaws that we have, we shouldn't be ashamed of them. We should definitely flaunt them. So I was very convicted and didn't listen to the people who told me not to wear it. And obviously they've changed their minds now and think it's the greatest idea ever. But yeah, they definitely didn't want me to at first.
On TuDiabetes, we have a lot of members who are parents of teenagers with diabetes. And sometimes the issue comes up with kids and teens about wearing a pump at school, and the fact that a pump is usually a lot more visible than injections. You can kind of go off to the bathroom to do an injection, and probably no one's ever going to know that you did that, whereas a pump, a lot of times you have to wear it in a spot that's visible, or clip it on your belt or whatever. Mm-hmm. And a lot of young people and teens have some misgivings about being that sort of public in school about the fact that they have diabetes. Do you have any words of wisdom for both kids and their parents about letting others see their pump?
Yeah, I hope I've done something with just my example, but I guess not necessarily words of advice, but just know that I totally know how you feel, and even though, like, I've gotten famous for being confident with my insulin pump, I'm not always 100% confident, and it's totally human. It's totally okay, because it does, like, it can make me feel uncomfortable, and especially when people don't know that I'm Miss Idaho and they don't know my story. They still, like, ask unintentionally hurtful questions, or I don't know. It's definitely, I don't know. It's just something. You have to learn to love yourself and be comfortable with yourself before you can have a thick enough skin to rub off those comments. But I guess not. Yeah, again, they're not really words of advice, but just know that I'm totally there with you, and it's totally a normal feeling to be scared of wearing your insulin pump. But know that there's not really a reason to. And I always tell this to people, that I wish you could see how many, like, likes and comments and messages and letters in the mail that I receive from all these people who wear insulin pumps, because that's given me confidence in return. Like, I know, like, you guys think, like, I'm the one giving you guys confidence, but really the diabetes community has done so much for me in the past couple months, because I've seen, like, I'm not alone. There's thousands of people who also wear an insulin pump, so I'm not, like, a weirdo. I might be the only one at my school that wears an insulin pump, but it's really not that abnormal. There's so many other people out there.
We have a really sweet question in the chat room from Lily, who is asking, what have been some of the most touching moments that you've had since the Show Me Your Pump picture went viral and other people started doing it?
I think one story that has always stuck out to me because I really teared up was that, so at Miss Idaho we have a mentorship program where we get partnered with a little girl who's probably like between 9 and 12, and we get to do service projects with her throughout the like months leading up to Miss Idaho, and we get to go like we went on like an ice cream date all together, like as a huge group, and we just like get the chance to get to know our little girl and ask her what she wants to be when she grows up, and ask her like should tell her about our community service and ask her what she's passionate about, blah blah blah. So me and my little girl my little girl and I got really close this year, and she was really excited that I won Miss Idaho, blah 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 blah. And so I was Miss Idaho for probably about a month, and I get a call from her mom, and she said, "I just wanted to let you know that today we're going to the hospital because we think that my daughter has scoliosis." And I was telling her this morning that she might have to wear leg and back braces for a good part of her adolescent years because of this disease. And she, instead of being upset about it like the mom and the rest of the family was, the little girl was actually like excited and said, "Do you think I can become like Miss America like Sierra is with my back and leg braces?" And the fact that she was not only not scared to get them, but she was excited to have something that's unique about her and that she can touch other people's lives with was so touching to me. And then, do you want me to tell the story about McCall? Okay. So McCall she's our Miss Idaho's outstanding preteen, and she was at Miss Idaho watching from backstage, and I was in the dressing room getting ready for the opening number and kind of panicking. For any of you who've seen like Dr. Oz, I've told the story a bunch, so you might have heard it already. Sorry if you have. But I was in the dressing room freaking out a little bit because I was trying to decide if I was really going to wear my pump, because this is my last chance to like take it off. I could either take it off now and not worry about it, or leave it on, and then I had to wear it for the rest of the competition. There was no going back. And I decided to put it on because I was like, okay, Sierra, it's a little tiny machine. Like, no one's even going to notice it. Like, it's not going to matter. It's not a big deal. And I walk out of the dressing room, and the very second I come out, she's like, "Oh my gosh, what is that? Is that an insulin pump hooked to your belt pants?" And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't think anyone was going to notice. And so I like turned to go back into the dressing room, and she's like, no, I'm diabetic too. That's so cool. But I do shots because I'm scared of what people at school would think. I think they would, like, I don't know, be mean to me about my insulin pump or something. I just think it kind of looks weird. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is why I'm doing this. I didn't know, but there's no way to explain to the audience what I was wearing or why I was wearing it. I was just hoping that some people would know what it was, and even if they weren't diabetic, maybe they would understand, like, I just wanted to be myself, and I wanted to show them that they could be themselves. Never in a million years would I have dreamed that there was a person I could have a conversation with that had diabetes, that was struggling with that issue, like, right there that night. And so I was like, okay, like, I don't care how nervous I am, I don't care what the people say, like, I have to go out there and wear the insulin pump for McCall. So by the end of the night, she was so excited. She told her mom she wanted to get a pump, and it had been a really sensitive issue in their family. So her mom was like tearing up, and it just meant so much to me. And so Miss Idaho is 2 nights. The first night everyone competes, and the second night we just read off top 10. And so that was the first night. The second night, before anything started, like, they read off top 10 on the second night, so I didn't know if I'd made top 10 yet. She came back with a picture of me and her that we'd taken the night before, and she'd gotten developed and framed, and it said Miss Idaho 2014, and I was like, oh no, like, I haven't made top 10. And the year before when I competed for Miss Idaho, I hadn't made top 10, so I was just like praying that I would make top 10 and nothing else. Like, I didn't care. I just wanted to make top 10 this year. And she was like, you're going to be Miss Idaho. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I want to do it so bad for her, but there's no way I can win. But she was cheering for me. She was so upset that I was winning the whole time, and I was like, just be happy when I make top 10, please. And then, or like, if I made top 10, and then I ended up winning, and like, the first thing that went through my head was like, oh my gosh, like, I did it for McCall. Like, McCall's backstage, and like, I'm her Miss Idaho, and like, I'd changed one person's life, and that was like, even if I hadn't won, I already knew that I had won in that way. So that was so awesome, and now we've become really, really good friends. And she got her pump about a month ago, and is so cute because I think you probably saw it at Miss America where I wore it like front and center all the time. I don't do that on a day-to-day basis, but I knew like I wasn't sure if I would make top 15 at Miss America, so I wanted my pump showing as much as possible for the kids in the audience who are watching, just in case I didn't get to wear it in the top 15. But she wears her pump front and center all the time, and it's so, so cute. And she's like always showing it to me. She's like, look at my new pump case today. It's pink or purple. It's so awesome.
So on the Dr. Oz show, Dr. Oz was able to get McCall to show up to surprise you. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I had McCall here in my house right now?
Do you?
No.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. But no, McCall is not at my house right now. But you did get to see her. I just thought that would be crazy. But you did get to see her again on the Dr. Oz show, and you guys got to reconnect. And it turns out that she is also a pageant contestant. So you said that she got her pump about a month ago. Are you guys keeping in touch?
She is Miss Idaho's Outstanding Preteen, so she's actually crowning the next one this weekend. But I actually like live with them part-time because like when my official host family in Boise is busy or has guests in town, like I need a different place to stay, and so I usually stay with their family. And they had actually like dropped me off at the airport to go to Dr. Oz, and I'd been with them for like almost a week before it, and they had kept it a secret, and they had packed behind my back, and like no one can keep secrets from me. I'm so hard to surprise, and somehow they didn't mention anything. And so he kind of said the same thing, like, what if we have the call here? And I was like, that'd be cool, but you don't have her here. There's no way.
Because she just dropped me off at the airport.
Yeah, my mind was blown. It was insane.
A couple other questions that you already have here in the chat room. One is, did any celebrities reach out to you after the Show Me Your Pump went viral? Were there other folks who wanted to connect with you around that?
Well, Nicole Johnson, who I actually already been talking to, and is like my hero of all heroes, because not only has she shown me that, because I had the same problem. Like she did exactly. It's a lot. Here, let me explain this. It's really hard for me to understand when people, like, I get so many letters and comments about how much what I've done how much it means to them, like what I've done and how much it's inspired them. And it's kind of hard for me to comprehend because I'm like, guys, like, I don't know, it was hard for me and I was scared and stuff, but like at the end of the day, sometimes I feel like I just put a picture on Facebook and it wasn't that big of a deal. It just like got a lot of likes. But what I always have to remember is like what Nicole Johnson did for me as Miss America when she competed with her insulin pump. That's really like why I decided to get one, because I was the kind of diabetic who would go in the bathroom and give myself shots and was terrified that like boys would never look at me again if I got an insulin pump and what people would say, blah blah blah. And so I heard that Miss America had an insulin pump, and I like that really showed me that wearing one would not make me less beautiful and wouldn't detract from who I am, wouldn't make me worth less, I guess. And so she's why I decided to get one, and eventually why I decided to build up the confidence to wear it on stage. But the day I won this, I reached out to her like as soon as I heard about her, so 2 years ago, and when I won Miss Idaho, I messaged her and I was like, oh my gosh, Nicole, I'm going to Miss America. I'm going to be just like you. I'm so excited. Like, you have no idea how much of a dream come true it is to be able to wear my insulin pump on stage like you did. And it's like, I thank you so much, because like not only did she inspire me to wear my insulin pump, but she inspired me to get involved with the Miss America organization, which has completely changed every aspect of my life for the better. And so she messaged back a couple hours later and was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so exciting. I'm canceling my plans for the week of Miss America, and I just booked my tickets to Atlantic City, and I'll be there to support you. And so that's been incredible, getting to know Nicole Johnson, who is, like, for so long been this, like, distant, like, concept and theory, like, just thought in my mind, and such, like, a famous person, and then, like, I don't know, become one of my good friends. It's been so incredible. And then, let's see, Ryan Reed, the NASCAR driver, I saw him on the front of Diabetes Forecast, and it was like when I first saw. I didn't know. I think my PR person set up the Diabetes Forecast thing, or I remember being interviewed for it, but it was so long ago I'd forgotten about it. And when I saw the cover of the magazine, I was like, oh my gosh, like Nick Jonas, Ryan Reed, they've both been on the cover of this magazine, and now I'm on the cover of this magazine. Like, what is going on? Oh my gosh. And so, I think, let's see, Ryan Reed's, I don't know, his like agent or something had been talking to my agent since like I won Miss Idaho, I think. But I decided to tweet him like a week ago maybe, and I was like, hey, my dad said we could go to a race in Vegas if you have one, and not expecting him to tweet back or anything because he's a busy celebrity. And then he's like, oh my gosh, Sierra, I'm like, yes, I'll hook you up. And then it ends up that our agents had already been talking for a while because they've been trying to get me to go to one of his races. So that's going to be super, super fun. And then Nick Jonas has not reached out to me, but he should because he's totally my like celebrity diabetes crush. And then, I don't know, who else? Am I spacing on anyone? Who's another famous diabetic? Am I forgetting anyone?
Well, I reached out to you.
Yeah.
Look how hard she's laughing, everybody. Hey, so that makes me think, though, I feel like there's this sort of generation right now of young people who are fairly recently diagnosed with diabetes, diagnosed sort of in their teens and potentially even late teens, like you and like Ryan Reed, who are incredibly active in raising awareness about type 1 diabetes. And I think a lot of our members on TuDiabetes, again, have had diabetes for a really long time and grew up at a time when there wasn't even a concept, really, of raising awareness about diabetes, because the concept was, I'm just going to try to keep living. I'm going to test my blood sugar and just try to get through this thing. And so we're at a time maybe historically right now in the progress of diabetes care and management and social awareness where it's possible to be diagnosed with diabetes and pretty quickly become kind of a diabetes celebrity who is raising awareness and being a mentor and a role model for other people. What do you think about that?
I think it's awesome. I think that's one thing. I think, who was it? Someone asked me why I was wearing my insulin pump because it's like already been done. Nicole Johnson already wore it. Like, who cares anymore? And it's my experience has been different from hers because of the amazing power of social media we have today. And I think social media technology gets a lot of negative attention a lot of times, but really all we need to do is learn how to not abuse it or overuse it. And it is such a powerful and amazing tool because without it, like, I wouldn't have had this ability to spread awareness. And I think we really need to understand how amazing social media can be if we really embrace it and learn how to use it properly. But I think that's what puts me and Ryan at an advantage over diabetics of the past, is that it's so easy to reach. And the diabetes online community is like crazy awesome, so it's been awesome. I remember when I was first diagnosed, like the diabetes online community was like my lifeline because no one around me knew what I was going through. And so, yeah, it's so awesome what we have.
Yeah.
As diabetics.
So are you folks going to form sort of a wonderful collaborative group of young people with type 1 who are raising awareness through wonderful celebrity?
They're wonderful.
I think you should.
So funny. I don't think of myself as famous, maybe. Hopefully, that'd be awesome. I think like I'll never stop fangirling over like Nick Jonas and Ryan Reed, but that'd be awesome if we did.
I had another question just on the tip of my tongue right now, and I lost it. Hate it when that happens. Everybody give me a second because there was something I was excited to ask. Don't worry, Sierra, the camera's on me while we're all staring at me trying to remember my question.
Right.
Oh, I remember what it was. So this is a question that was actually posted in the chat room a while ago, and I was kind of waiting for the right moment to ask it. And that is, in the process of raising awareness around diabetes and doing all the show me your pump stuff, have you felt any concern that you would sort of in a public eye be reduced to just diabetes and that the rest of who you are would be lost?
Absolutely. I think that's definitely been something I've been struggling with actually for the past 2 months, is because I'm passionate about like my disabilities camp and wow, so many things, like beauty issues with the media, self-esteem, making sure like my generation learns the importance of being confident in themselves. Let's see, women's rights I'm passionate about. Like I used to live in South America, and my dad served a medical mission there, so that's something I want to do with my life. And I feel like a lot of that's just like disappeared and gotten washed away. And I was at my welcome home party, and a diabetic kid came to it, saw it on Facebook, and his family brought him to it so he could meet me. And someone was asking him, someone asked him, so since you have diabetes, are you going to grow up and become a scientist so you can research a cure? And it's not saying that is not totally awesome and noble, but I think a lot of times since we have diabetes, we get reduced to like that's the only way we can make a difference. And the kid was like, no, I want to be a cop, and that's how I want to serve my community. And I was like don't let diabetes define you. Like, way to go. And he was just totally like right up front about it. And again, like, it's totally not bad if you're like super passionate about finding a cure for diabetes, but at the same time, like, that's been something I'm really struggling with. Like, sometimes I feel pressure, like I can't do any service projects unless they're related to diabetes, or people will get mad at me, or like the for example, the ALS bucket challenge, which was so awesome. And I actually lost my really, really, really close friend lost her father to ALS about, has it been 2 years? Another thing that happened 2 years ago. So that is an issue that's really close to my heart, and a lot of people are saying, like, we need to, like, Sierra, when you do the ice bucket challenge, like, donate your money to diabetes. And I was like, well, like, we had our moment in the spotlight when I had my insulin pump last month, like, and ALS is really important to me as well, and I, like, almost felt guilty giving my donation to ALS because, like, I've been, like, reduced to diabetes, I guess. So, I don't know. I think, like, that, yeah, that's definitely something I've struggled with, and I, like, want people to know, and people to understand that you yourselves, like, don't let yourself to be defined by diabetes, unless, like, it's totally awesome, something awesome to be passionate about, but make sure you don't limit yourself to it, I guess.
Nice. So, folks, I had promised Sierra that we could make this a slightly shorter interview than an hour because she's sick, as you might have noticed. And Sierra, you've been so wonderful to join us, despite the fact that you're not feeling well and you're coughing, and I keep trying to talk over you coughing. But I so appreciate it, and I know that the community super appreciates you being here to talk with us. It's really neat to meet you. We did a big campaign on TuDiabetes with our members to vote for you for People's Choice, and I know a lot of people who voted for you every chance they got. And so we're all big fans of yours.
You guys are so awesome. It was a dream come true. Did you know I was the first Miss Idaho in top 15 for 43 years? Since 1971. It was
Holy
awesome.
cow!
Thanks to you guys. So that was so incredible for me.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to let you go take a nap. Thank you, Sierra. Take good care. Heal up. Rest well.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks to the community for being here. Bye.